Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is episode 2 of Unapologetic Athletics. I am your host, Luther Gill. First order of business, I just recorded my first episode of Unapologetic Athletics in Spanish. Even though it's not my native language, I know as I can consistently continue to do so, I will get so much better at this. But for next order of business, high school football is back. I just want to give a shout out, congratulations to Tech High School. They blew out Washington High School 40-0 to get their first win of the season. Keeping on the line of football, college football is on its way back. IU opens up its season against Iowa on September 2nd on the Big Ten Network at 3:30. So I'm really confident in the IU football program and and Tom Allen and what he's done. I think he's going into his fourth or fifth year, and he's done an amazing job turning around that football program. I ever since I followed IU football really I've been following IU football my whole life, but ever since Tom Allen came around, I consistently see the changes that the football program is bringing towards IU in Bloomington and for Big Ten. It's really good for competition. Next order of business. My guy Carrington wanted to know my season prediction for the Colts. To be honest, I believe in the Colts. Coach Ballard, ever since Coach Ballard came along and took the GM job, there has been little doubt in my mind. He knows what he's doing. It just sucks that the Colts are in this predicament with their starting center and their starting quarterback being out. You're probably not going to see them until mid-November, close to December. But either way, we're at a wait and see what happens with the Indianapolis Colts. I don't know. They're just dealing with the plague of injuries. What are your guys' thoughts? You can tweet at me at baby_Vandross92 about your season predictions involving high school football, college football, and NFL football as well. Again, that's baby_Vandross92. I actually tuned in yesterday to watch 2 games in the WNBA. Shout out to the Fever. They beat Dallas on the road 83-81, and Seattle stormed the New York Liberty 99-83. Breanna Stewart with a double-double, 19 points and 14 rebounds. Now, while we're on the subject of the WNBA, I like the direction where the WNBA is going. Earlier this week, I was actually reading up on some history. I think this week it marked the anniversary of the end of women's suffrage after 103. It's 103 or 104 years, and this is big. This is big. This is big history for America, North America, the U.S. Why? Because politics, it wouldn't be where it's at without women. This episode is geared more so towards women empowerment. And why do I say that? Because I've seen how far the WNBA. I was probably 5 or 6 when the WNBA came along, and now I've seen the progression that they've made. And more so, I respect the hustle of the WNBA players. As you can see, WNBA players, they don't make as much as NBA players. It's not their fault. Genetics is out of their control. But WNBA players, they're doing stuff that the athletes in the NBA don't have to do because the WNBA is such a short season. Just to make up, there are players that have dual occupation, two or more. There are players that play for the WNBA. They're also coaching in the NBA. And when the WNBA season is over, they're actually traveling overseas to play in other leagues as well. And that, for that, women have my respect, because you don't see that. And I can see why women are always fighting for equal pay. Women actually make pennies to our dollars when it comes to profession. And I'm just being real. This is the reason why I call this unapologetic athletics. I'm just being real. Women just want what they're worth. I want what I'm worth. You want what you're worth, don't you? Wouldn't you fight for what these women are fighting for? And with that being said, when it comes to women, we expect so much of women. Aren't relationships 50-50? When it comes to women, things should be reciprocated. When I say we ask a lot of women, we ask them to have our babies. We ask them to be our girl. We ask them to be our wives, cook, clean. Travel is just endless. And that takes a lot. And as a male, I don't know what it's like to be a mother. For women in the WNBA to have to travel and not get the luxury of the NBA players of being in the United States with their families. They have to travel and be so far away with their own families. So I couldn't even imagine what women go through in the WNBA in their profession. With women's suffrage, with it being the anniversary of women's suffrage, politics, they want women's votes in exchange. I say you'll get women's votes in exchange for equal pay. That's just how I feel. Remember, even though the show is called Unapologetic Athletics, it's just my opinion. And while we're speaking on opinions, I just want to let you all know, remember, you are more than your occupation, more than an athlete. There is no shut up and dribble. I am more than Luther. LeBron is more than his talents on the court. For me, I see the hate he gets on social media, and at the end of the day, LeBron doesn't care. It's debatable. We can say you don't like LeBron for his athletic ability, but when it comes to the things that he's doing for his community in Cleveland, Ohio, you're attacking this man's image and his integrity. It has nothing to do with the game of basketball, and it really takes the integrity out the game. Given there's some things I don't like about LeBron, but when it comes to things he's done with the community, build a whole fucking school. Build a whole fucking school in Cleveland. Putting kids through college. Giving them an opportunity. I don't think you all understand the meaning of that. How you build a school in your home state and you give kids opportunity from the hood. And I come from the hood. I grew up on the east side of Indianapolis. Trust me, if y'all are from Indiana or you've been through Indiana, man, straight. I may not look the part or I may not talk it, but I grew up on the far east side of Indianapolis, and it was rough. The only way to know these things about me is if you sit down and have a conversation about me. But I don't want to get on. I don't want to get on topic. Off topic. I want to actually dive into I actually want to dive into the music industry. Last week I was following an article on the baby. He made some comments about the LGBTQ that didn't align with them. Again, it was just his opinion. But whenever our own truths don't align with somebody else's, we are so quick to have this hashtag cancel culture. And I really dislike that, because at the end of that, I'm going to repeat this consistently. Your truth is not my truth. At the end of the day, it's just an opinion. There is no facts behind it. But what sets us apart from everybody else is the uniqueness of our individuality. Your truth is a part of your individuality and your character. So with that being said, we live in a sensitive society to where people can't speak their mind without somebody getting offended. We don't know how to agree to disagree. But going back to the baby, he deleted this tweet that caused this controversy, and recanted his statement after he lost out on his tour. And he came with an apology and recanted it. For me, going back to my title, Unapologetic Athletics, this is a platform. I believe, because we live in a sensitive society, such a sensitive society, I believe we are a product of our sensitive society. We let society influence how we think and what we say, instead of doing the own research for our own truth. And for this platform, I would like to use this platform to give the freedom of speech back to the people, back to the athletes. Remember, going back to the athletes, we are more than our occupation, more than an athlete. Going back to women empowerment, two of the women that I looked up to the most in the sports industry. Shout out Jackie McMillan. She just retired from ESPN this week. But two of the people that I looked up to are black females, two black strong females. Is one Carrie Champion and Jamel Hill. What's interesting is that I love all the smoke podcasts, because females that we don't normally get to hear from, such as Carrie Champion and Jamel Hill, Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson, they'll put these people on their platform and they'll tell their story. And basically, Jamel Hill looked up to Carrie Champion. We are all inspired by somebody. And one of the reasons why I'm so inspired by Jamel Hill is because at the time when she was working, when the community, when we were having the riots in the U.S. with the death of George Floyd, some of the American people felt like Donald Trump didn't do enough to de-escalate the situation. And why I love Jamel Hill is a person not to let her voice be filtered. Even though she was working with ESPN at the time, she was more than her occupation. She tweeted at Donald Trump, let her say, and ESPN came and retaliated, and they said, hey, this doesn't lie with our values. You need to delete that tweet. Jamel Hill, her being more than her occupation, she said, okay, I'll delete that tweet. But I think 6 or 9 months later, she decided to step down from ESPN and take a different career path. And out of deep love and respect for Jemele Hill, I have deep love and respect for Jemele Hill. And with that being said, opinions are just opinions. There's no facts behind it. We can't let society and what we see on the news influence how we think, or our words and our actions, and without us doing the research. Here you have Fox News saying that CNN is wrong, and you have CNN saying Fox News is wrong. Well, we got to draw the line somewhere. We have to watch both to find out where that line is, where our very own truth is. And that's it on that topic. I wanted to keep diving into to the music industry. Yesterday when I ended my episode, I found breaking news that Kendrick Lamar came out and he said this is his last studio album, his 5th studio album with Top Dog Entertainment. After that, he'll be looking to go independent and step down and find other avenues to give us music. Kendrick Lamar, he has no idea how important he is to the world, especially the Black community. Coming from Compton, California, I see a lot of myself in him, and I write a lot of poetry, and a lot of the artists that I listen to, they influence my poetry. And while we're on poetry, I wanted to make another announcement. Later on, I don't know if tonight or later on in the week, I will be uploading some original poetry that I specifically wrote for all your sports junkies out there. It's called Kobe Bryant. I looked up to Kobe Bryant. His death, it still touches me to this day. I still can't believe that he's gone. So I want you to be on the lookout for my original poem called Kobe Bryant, and pay attention to the visuals that I use as I read and share my talent through poetry and music, music and spoken word. Poetry, music, and spoken word. Next, I know on my first episode, I told you about Damian Lillard dropping an album and Trippie Redd dropping an album as well. I haven't gotten to listen to those albums yet, but for my viewers, I would like to figure out if you all have listened to that. So just tweet at me and let me know what tracks I should be listening to. I know Trippie Redd, he's got a banger called Betrayal featuring Drake that I saw on my news feed. I'm gonna go check that out later on today. And to wrap it all up, I want to end with some for me. I know college students are starting college this week. For me, I was a non-traditional college student. I know how stressful college can be. If there's one thing I can change about my college experience is taking better care of my mental health. With that, I didn't do such a good job while I was in college because I took on so much, and I can talk your ears off for hours, but just to give you an insight, most college students finish college between 5 and 6 years, maybe even longer, while taking 9, 12 credit hours at a time. But me, because being a non-traditional college student, I completed my associates and my bachelor's in 4 years while taking 18 credit hours every semester. That might blow your mind. It blew my mind when I was even reflecting upon how far I've come and everything I had to go through to get to where I am. I don't recommend doing that. That's why I say if there's anything I can change, is be about changing my mental health. A lot of the reasons why we're having the problems in society is because of people who don't take mental health serious. In Indianapolis a few months ago, there was a mass shooting at a FedEx company to where nine people were killed, including the shooter. He took his own life, and there was a history of mental health, and nobody wanted to pay attention to the signs. So for me, when it comes to mental health, mental health, spirituality, and physicality, they're all one and the same. That's just me. You need them all three. They all work hand in hand. When it comes to different people, some may have a stronger spirituality than their physicality. Knowing me, I have a stronger mentality. I'm stronger mentally and I'm stronger spiritually than I am physically. So simultaneously, I can break physically and spiritually before I break mentally. I'll let you think about that for. I'm gonna say it again. I can break physically and spiritually before I break mentally. And that just comes with me paying attention to my body and my emotions and all that, and knowing when I need to get rid of some stress that is complicating my life. So I want to pay attention to that. Again, it was downplayed when the Lakers won the NBA championship inside the bubble in Florida. You had countless athletes talking about they miss their family, their way, and they're secluded, isolated. With this still being hard times with COVID, I do hope we're taking care of ourselves physically, mentally, and spiritually, and eating as well. And since I did record my first episode in Spanish, to end the show, I want to know, I am big on learning about different cultures, communities, and society. And since I've lived in foreign countries before, the food that we eat has to do a lot with our physical, mental, and spiritual health as well. So I want to know, tweet at me, what are some dishes that I can make or my viewers can make to try? Food is essential for us to live. I know vegans. I know people who are vegans. I know people who are vegetarians. I know people that eat meat sparingly. In reality, food and water is essential as the air we breathe right now. With that being said, I also want to know, tweet at me what you all are watching. I have this bad habit of starting shows and not finishing them. So when I'm on different platforms, I have a show or a movie that I watch specifically on Hulu, Netflix, Disney Plus, and so forth. But some of the shows, if you're into anime, I've been watching Castlevania on Netflix. It's really good. It's bloody, it's gory, but the animation, what reels me in is the story. As long as the story and there's no filler episodes, I'm into it. It can be cheesy animation, but if the story's good, I'm gonna be tuned. Another show I've been watching on Netflix is a documentary. It's about Quincy Jones. If you don't know who Quincy Jones is, I recommend Quincy Jones. It's actually called Q on Netflix. Quincy Jones, he is big for the culture of music. The dude, I think he's 90 and still has his hand in a lot of modern day music. And so if you're looking for a really good documentary to watch, I would give that a go. Also, The Untold Story of Malice in the Palace. Steven Jackson, Jermaine O'Neal, and Ron Artest, they give their account of everything that happened in 2005, November 19th, in the Malice in the Palace in Detroit, Michigan. it affected their NBA careers, their professional careers, and it was very interesting listening to that. Switching over to Hulu, uh, I've watched the Wu-Tang, the American Saga. Season 1 is all on Netflix. But if you watch Wu-Tang, season 2 actually is being released September 9th. So stay tuned for that. That is going to be, I can't wait, because if you're a music junkie like me, some of the artists that I listen to, such as Dave East and Joey Badass, they play some of the Wu-Tang characters that we are familiar with here in society. Also, last but not least, this brought back college memories, but I'm also watching Last Chance U basketball. Last Chance U basketball, it follows the East LA Community College in California and their journey to win state at the JUCO level. I'm on the very last episode. I'm very excited to see how it turns out. But just a quick story, it brought me back to my blend days when I was going to school in Texas. And there was this cat named James Harrison, 6'8", left-handed player, center, just a walking double-double. And we were both freshmen at the time, and I hope James remembers this story. But I would attend. I would attend each game, and me and James, we had a lot of classes together. And before each game, I would say, James, I want you to go out there and get a double-double. And when I say James would get a double-double, it would be like 15 and 10 with like at least 3 blocks every night. And shout out to all the former Blend players, James Harrison, Antoine Lister as well, and Tony. They're all playing overseas, doing big things. I believe in y'all. You all have what it takes to make it to the next level. I believe in my time at Blend. I always enjoyed watching you play. The difference why I went into this platform is because I never got the opportunity to play as a kid, but having the opportunity to watch and write, oh man, beautiful, beautiful. But that is it for today on Unapologetic Athletics. I hope you all enjoyed this episode. Stay tuned for more content. I have a vision to where this can go. So if you have any highlights, if you need some exposure, I associate music and sports is the same thing. Everybody is trying to get to the professional level, but the reality is not everybody makes it D1 or to the pros. There's a small percentage. That's why they have to go the G League route, or they go and play overseas just to make a name for themselves. So to me, music and sports, it's one and the same. If you're looking for exposure, if you have highlights at the JUCO, Division I, Division II, Division III, so forth, even historical black colleges, if there's highlights, DM them to me and I will personally upload them to my YouTube channel and my Twitter feed to get your guys' name out there. I hope you enjoyed this second episode of Unapologetic Athletics, and let's get this going. Like, subscribe, comment, give me feedback on what you think of this episode. I am Luther No Vandross. You can tweet at me at baby_Vandross92. Again, that's at baby_Vandross92. You all have a wonderful weekend, and let's remember to stay safe in these trying times.